Welcome to New York's #2 sports show. The Yankees lose to the Los Angeles Dodgers in Game 2 by a score of 4-2. So, Yankees lose a heartbreaker in Game 1, and they followed it up by being one hit through 8 innings, have a little bit of a late rally in the 9th inning, and it falls short. And so now they will head back to Yankee Stadium down 2-0, and Game 3 is as close to a must-win as you can have. And now we are fortunate enough. We've been hoping for this guest for a little bit of time here, and now we have him. Kenny Porter joins us. So Kenny is producer Casey's father. Kenny, welcome aboard.
Thanks for that flattering introduction, Derek. Yeah. Good to be here, man. Good to be here.
Great to have you, Kenny. And wish it was under better circumstances because, you know, this could have very well been, I'm not going to go as far as to say being up 2-0 in this series, but certainly being 1-1. But here we are, down 0-2.
Yeah, down 0-2, not feeling great at all. I mean, the only thing that we got going for us is the fact that maybe we got something going in the 9th inning. Is that supposed to carry us over? Maybe. I mean, it was such a pathetic loss the night before. Still trying to get that out of my system. I'm having trouble, but you know, we have to go forward. You know.
Yeah, me too. And that's where tonight's game was further reasoning as to why the Game 1 loss was as critical as was, you know, as painful as it was, and because the mission was to split, and they were unable to do so. So now, in a best case scenario, you're going back to LA up, you're going up to LA up 3-2. So it's a tall task from here on out. And let's start with the offense. This lineup has really had a lot of trouble. Now, obviously, Carlos Rodón, in terms of tonight's game, Carlos Rodón does not get the job done, allows 3 homers. And I've been very critical of Rodón and the fact that I didn't think that he'd be able to handle this moment, and he doesn't. And so that's problematic. But this offense, Yamamoto shuts the Yankees down, and the Aaron Judge struggles only ramp up and continue. He is 6 for 40 in the postseason with 19 strikeouts.
That is hard to believe. I mean, 50% of the time, just about, this guy's striking out.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. And I'm not sure how you felt, Kenny, but for me at least, I had my concerns coming in. He was not good at, in the 2022 postseason, coming off of, you know, he breaks the home run, the American League home run record. And they get swept by the Astros, and there was a lot of other storylines, but at the time, and he was becoming an impending free agent, he was really bad. And it's been a theme now for him. And look, can he change the whole narrative in this rest of the series? Yes, that opportunity still exists, but
it does.
The at-bat quality looks absolutely awful.
He looks so far from that, it's hard to conceive of it coming in the near future, right? I mean, he's so off. I mean, this guy's whole thing is his eye. His eye is so keen, he doesn't offer at anything but a strike. I mean, he knows the strike zone better than the umpires, we always feel in the past. Now, he's out of control. He's pulling a Stanton on occasions. I mean, going after these breaking balls 3 feet outside, high fastballs, whatever. He's somebody we don't know actually who this man is. Come back to us, for Christ's sakes. Yeah, we need you. You know?
Yeah, if he's going to continue this, there is really no way that you're going to be able to come back in the series. So
yeah, down 2-0. I mean, if you would have told me, sorry to break in on you, if you would have told me that from the, you know, because we kind of won the Cleveland series without him. So had we not gone, we almost split here. And then I'm thinking, but eventually in a long series, you're going to have your MVP 58 home run stud come through for you on occasion.
Yeah, it's hard for me to not think about that more than anything right now. But there's so many thoughts that come to mind here. And look, I don't want to be defeated, right? There is, you know, the series isn't over, but I just have to be real. And the fact that this is problematic to be certain. And I guess let's just briefly touch on Game 1, just because, you know, Kenny, I want to get, you know, just your thoughts on what happened. And just some of the decisions that were made, not made. And, you know, what happened was Aaron Boone makes a couple of really terrible gaffes. The Yankees had that game right in front of them, and they let it slip away.
Yeah, I would say, you know, with all the times I've been watching the World Series, I would say this to me is one of the biggest gaffes I've ever seen in my life. To take a man who's been out for a month and hasn't pitched since the beginning of this September and bring him in for a save situation in game one of the World Series, I mean, it's preposterous. You wouldn't do that. Nobody would think of going that way, let alone to have a weapon like Hill, who from the left side is so much more difficult to try to hit, you know, for Freddie Freeman. It's amazing that he would go that way. And I mean, that cost us the game. There's no doubt about it. That mistake. I mean, I'm not saying that he, you know, you assume that Hill would have gotten him out. But I got to tell you, man, I feel like 98% factual that it was going to happen. It just felt that good to me. And this guy just totally came out of left field, so to speak, and threw in Cortez.
Yeah, and to make matters worse, we'll get into it. We're going to do our normal, going a game 2 recap, but just to give a little sneak preview, of course, Hill does get Freeman out without much issue. So it makes Boone look even worse. Again, right. Totally different situation. Yep. It's only the 5th inning and down 3 runs, but just goes to show you.
Still, yeah.
You know what I mean? Hill gets the job done. And so that was just a terrible fuck up by Aaron Boone, and one that's going to keep him up at night. Although, again, like, they did have a pregame press conference, and he did double down on that. Now, one thing that I mentioned, and we'll kind of wrap up game 1 here. One thing that Boone did admit, and one of my big gripes was he said the usage of Luke Weaver last night, that maybe he conceded that if he could do it over again, that, he did wrestle with the idea of having Weaver start the 10th inning. And you got to do that. You're in the World Series. Like, you can't be taking a chance on Jake Cousins and Nestor Cortez. To me, that had to be Luke Weaver. And if he gets into trouble, then Tim Hill. Those are the guys that have gotten you here. That's what you had to do. Like
you mentioned to me, he had 19 pitches thrown. Sometimes you look at a 5-out, it wasn't a save in this situation, but you think, all right, that's his limit. But it's all about pitch count. 19 pitches is nothing. And as you mentioned, too, about the sit-downs, the sit-ups, getting up-downs, right, yeah, from inning to inning. Give me a break, man. Like you said, let's win this ball game. No, let's go out and get Nestor Cortez to come in and throw one of his junk ball meats.
We could have crushed that one.
Oh, forget about it, man. It's so embarrassing.
And you know what? I don't even want to shit on Nestor.
I'm not shitting on Nestor. He should have been put in that position, right?
He should have never been put in that position.
Exactly. We know that. We got nothing against him. He's like, what the fuck are you doing putting me in here right now? Right. I mean, come on. He's got to make take the call and get in there, but I'm sure he was shocked.
You want to put your players in a position to succeed, and that they did not do so at the most crucial time. That is just overdoing it, overthinking it. Keep it simple. Look, it'd be one thing if Tim Hill was struggling. Then, you know what? I get it. Nestor Cortez has a bit of a resume. Like, he really has been a really good pitcher in this league. But I don't know. But anyway, let's shift focus to game 2. And Carlos Rodón spits the bit. So Carlos Rodón, and I'm going to give the stat line here. The final line on Rodón ends up being 3 1/3 innings, 6 hits, 4 earned runs, no walks, 3 strikeouts, and 3 homers. The home run ball is the bugaboo for Carlos Rodón, and it reared its ugly head again here. And and this was very similar to me. This was somewhat similar to game 2 against Kansas City, where he did just bad enough. Here was even here in some ways was worse with the home run ball. That one was just Salvador Perez. But it was too much. With this Yankee offense, that's just, I can't defend that at all. No one would.
No, of course not.
They got to that fastball. They were, I wish the off speed was actually surprisingly kind of working for him. but they were hitting, Tommy Edman, Teoscar Hernandez, and Freddie Freeman all homer off of Rodón. And that's an unacceptable performance for someone that's getting paid as much as he is.
Absolutely. No doubt about it. And the thing is, about him too, I mean, if you're not using your breaking ball stuff, they're going to get used to your fastball. The more times they see that fastball, they're going to catch up to it because they know, you know what? Your junk isn't working for you. And you keep going to that heater and they're going to catch it. And that's exactly what happened. They caught it 3 times. One time back to back. I mean, ugly. I know. He's doesn't seem like a kind of guy that handles pressure too well. It's happened too often,
100%. And I know, Kenny, that this is a second guess, right? But sometimes we have first guesses. Like a lot of things I've listened. This is somewhat of a second guess, but I think it would have been sensible to go with Clarke Schmidt in game 2 for a few reasons. Now, look, would it have made that much difference? Maybe not. And this isn't me trying to absolve Rodón, right? Like, hey, who cares, home or away? You got to get it done. But Schmidt, very good on the road. And also the Dodgers are much better against left-handed pitching. I just would have liked the idea of having Schmidt in game 2 and 6 in LA and Rodón with that home start in game 3. Again, not going to make a big deal about it. I'm not going to die on that hill, but I think that was something that would have been sensible given all of the things I just mentioned. So,
if you're looking to give him every advantage that he needs, I mean, this is how you start treating a guy like this. You got to coddle him,
Yeah.
I get it, but he can suck just as much at home. But I understand. I totally get where you're coming from. Right. That's a little bit of I don't know, reaching, but a little bit.
Yeah, definitely.
But it's a possibility.
The fact of the matter is he didn't come through, and the Yankees paid for that. So Rodón fucks up. No question about it. I wish he proved me wrong. I was hoping for that A.J. Burnett 2009 Game 2 performance versus the Phillies. And we certainly, we got the opposite of that. We did not get that.
We did not.
Down 0-1. Could have really taken the sting out of Game 1, and it didn't happen. So let's run through the game. Let's kind of go through it chronologically, and we'll give our thoughts as well. So for the Dodgers, just to give, to be consistent, Yoshi Yamamoto, he goes 6 1/3 innings, gets the win, improves to 2-0 in the postseason, and for Rodón, 1-2. Yamamoto only allows 1 hit, a homer to Soto, 1 run, nice. 2 walks, and 4 strikeouts for Yamamoto. And that stings because obviously in the offseason, there was a lot of discussion about Yamamoto coming to the Yankees. It doesn't happen. He goes to the Dodgers, and he is able to pitch a really great game. Yankees didn't really have much of hard contact. It's not as if Yamamoto had strikeout stuff, but they really couldn't get anything going in this one.
Nothing at all.
And so let's start out in the first inning. Let's just go straight to it. So Gleyber Torres with the leadoff walk, and for Gleyber, he's done a very good job, especially in the first inning, of reaching base. Give him credit there. As far as hitters in this lineup, and look, Gleyber Torres in terms of the defense and the dumb mistakes he makes, they're pronounced. But credit where it's due, he has been a good table setter for this Yankee club. Soto grounds out, and then Aaron Judge. And let's just, I want to get this out the way now, I guess. Just getting all that Judge, it's bothering me a lot. He strikes out, and it would be the first of 3 strikeouts on the night for Aaron Judge. I really, really think it's not going to fucking happen. I would make a lineup change. I would have Stanton bat 3rd, Chisholm bat 4th, and Judge bat 5th. Again, it ain't going to happen. But, let's be fair here. No one is above, you can't treat... I understand that you're going to treat him differently, but for the betterment of the team, and look, maybe it gets Judge a little bit jump-started, quite frankly. That's what I would do, but I don't think it's going to happen.
My opinion is that, I don't think it would happen no matter what you do. And the fact that, am I allowed to disagree with you?
Yeah, go for it. Go for it.
No, I understand what you're saying, but I think, I think he's earned at least go back home and let's see what happens. They were winning games. They got here without him really doing much. And I don't know. I don't think I'm ready yet to drop him. But I understand. I mean, now you have to do something to prevent going down 3-0 because you're down 3-0. It's over. Tomorrow night is it. We win or the series is over. Let's be real, right? So
Yeah.
Maybe what you're saying makes a little more sense. But like you said, it's more that I know they will never do it. So
They're never
that's
going to do
really
it. They're never going to do it.
coming
That's
more
why,
to that than anything.
right.
But because I know it's like I love the guy so much. I just do. I'm being a little stubborn but I'm about team. I just don't know if that would shake the foundation too much. And certainly Steinbrenner and Cash, no one would have it, like you just said. So I guess it's moot, but it's interesting to talk about.
It is. And maybe we'll take it. Maybe I'll drop it down a notch. You need to make, to me, and it may not even make that much of a difference. I think that there's no way, in my opinion, you got to make some, like, the lineup that you saw in this game, something has to change. Whether it be just someone like a little bit of a tweak in terms of the order or someone coming out. Now, the one I'm thinking about here in terms of that, there's one that I'm thinking about as a possibility that could happen. I don't think it will, but there's a chance. And that would be Jason Dominguez replacing Alex Verdugo. Now, in left field. Now, look, Verdugo is much better defensively than Dominguez. Don't get me wrong. But you need a little bit of pop and something. Now, look, I don't think they're going to do it, but Verdugo's at-bats are just so low quality.
Yeah.
And you need a little bit of something. Now, look, maybe you don't do it in game 3, but like we acknowledged, like you lose game 3, you're pretty much done. So I think that what's going to happen is it's going to be the same players with maybe just a little, maybe something like a very minor sort of change. I'm kind of craving something different here.
A spark somehow.
Yeah, some spark
from some spot. We don't know where really.
Right.
I know. You're right. What could we do? That's the question. What is good to see tonight? That Jazz Chisholm, that sometimes he has a nickname Jizz because he plays so terribly. But he's been hitting a little bit the last couple of games, which is exciting. He gets on the bases, and if he's smart and uses his head, doesn't do anything silly, I mean, he's got a base, 2 bases stolen.
Right, exactly.
So he's so valuable in that respect.
Yeah, without a doubt. Like, we need Chisholm to get going. And yes, like, you leave these games and it's getting better. More to be done, but certainly like put up a really nice bat in the 9th. And just to get back to sort of the play-by-play here. So Judge gets that strikeout in the first inning. Stanton pops out to end it. Rodón with a pretty good first inning, pretty stress-free. But then let's go to the bottom of the second. It's Tommy Edman, who has just been an absolute godsend for the Dodgers, a trade deadline acquisition from the Cardinals. And there was rumors of Tommy Edman to the Yankees in a deal that would have actually potentially involved Nestor Cortez. Again, who knows what would have exactly happened. But Edman, there was some pretty real rumors there. He was coming off of injury. Think Jordan Montgomery for Harrison Bader. Now, obviously, nothing's exactly the same, but that's kind of what it would have been like. With Bader at the time when they got him, he was hurt. Tommy Edman was hurt as well. He has been great for the Dodgers, and that gives the Dodgers a 1-0 lead. And then Juan Soto in the top of the 3rd, doing what he does. And I'm just happy that they pitched to him. With the struggling Judge on deck, Juan Soto hits his 4th homer of the postseason. This guy is the goods. That was huge. But unfortunately, where the game was lost, bottom of the 3rd, 2 out, no one on. You need the shutdown inning for Rodón. You desperately need it. And with 2 out, Mookie Betts singles. And Mookie Betts, that was his 2nd hit of the night. And he was coming in 1 for 19 lifetime off of Rodón. And then it's Teoscar Hernandez with a 2-run homer to make it 3-1. And then that guy, Freddie Freeman, who we saw last night, he homers again, back-to-back home runs for the Dodgers, make it 4-1. And, there would be a little bit of more damage against Rodón that inning, but he wouldn't give up any more runs. So, yeah, Kenny, that was, to tie it up and then for them to make it 4-1 was just a total gut punch.
Absolutely, especially with 2 out, nobody on. I mean, here we go, right? You see Rodón, he unravels. That's what seems to happen. And he always has at least 1 inning like that, and you hope it's not a crooked number, but unfortunately it was. And here you are down 4-1. Yeah, that's tough. That's why, you got to give it to our bullpen after that point for the way they shut down everything. What more could they do?
100%.
Comes back to not hitting again. But Rodón, what we're talking about, yeah. Again, he comes up small at a big spot.
Yeah.
That's just him.
He does. And,
for the most part.
For the most part, exactly, right? Want to give it, look.
He had a great outing against KC.
Yeah, game 1 against Cleveland, fantastic, right? So,
yeah, right.
I don't want to, and game 5 kind of, a so-so outing. He was okay, not great, but simply does not get it done. And I have to harp on it because, again, this guy was signed to a 6-year mega contract. I wouldn't be making a big deal about it if it was, let's say, a Clark Schmidt or Luis Seal. This guy was signed here to be a top-of-the-line starter.
Absolutely.
And you're not getting that. So very disappointing by Carlos Rodón. But like you said, transitioning, very underrated work by the bullpen in the sense that, hey, if nothing else, and I know there's a day off tomorrow.
Thank goodness,
you had to. The Dodgers did have to use, some good pieces in the bullpen. Mm-hmm. And the Yankees, will get there in the 9th. But, it seems like they may have figured out Blake Trinan to an extent as well, which is important. So, yes, it can't be forgotten about that the bullpen gets the job done. So, Jake Cousins comes in the 4th inning. Rodón goes 3 1/3 innings. And Cousins gets out of the 4th. Then in the bottom of the 5th, he allows a single with 1 out, and they bring on Tim Hill, and that's where we were talking about before. Ironically, he gets Freddie Freeman to pop out, and then he gets Tommy Edman to strike out. And then in the bottom of the 6th, he gets a couple of outs, and they take him out. Tim Hill again. I can't say enough good things about him.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, just so frustrating. Tim Hill, Tim Hill could have gotten I don't want to say the word should, but we were all saying at the time, got to go Tim.
Of course.
When you saw Nestor Cortez coming out of that bullpen, I think most Yankee fans are thinking, no, this isn't the move.
I started looking around. I thought this is a joke. What, are you kidding me? This can't be real. That's how I felt.
Yeah. I'm with you, Kenny.
I know, buddy.
And then Clay Holmes finishes out that 6th inning. And then the 7th, Yamamoto gets Stanton to pop out, and they bring on Anthony Banda, the lefty, and he is able to navigate through the rest of that inning. Again, with the way this Yankee lineup is structured, Banda and Vesia are going to have a pretty easy time with 5 through 9, 4 of them being lefties. That's why I feel like it's sensible to somehow shake it up, but that would involve, the reason why it's tricky is because that would involve moving Judge or Stanton down, and I understand the pause in that, so it's not an easy solution. Bottom of the 7th, Clay Holmes, and you know what? Here's a big storyline that we have to talk about that we haven't discussed yet. Clay Holmes in the 7th inning is on. And with a runner on first, Ohtani and 2 out, Ohtani is caught stealing. Mm. And not only that, but he ends up injured and in pain. They said it's a subluxation. In other words, a dislocation of his shoulder. But Dave Roberts, after the game, sounded encouraged as far as Ohtani was concerned. And look, you never want to see anyone hurt. But it is obviously, if he does miss time, that is a big deal. Dodgers certainly have the pieces to make up for that, obviously. They're a very deep team, but Shohei Ohtani definitely was in a lot of pain. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there.
Yeah, that was shocking to see. Because they were talking about his wrist, and I could see it didn't look like his wrist. The way he landed looked very, very innocent, actually. You couldn't understand what he did. That made more sense when they mentioned the shoulder.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
That can just happen with the way, if you hit it the wrong way, pop out.
I tend to think that he's going to, Look, who knows? It's the World Series. I think he guts this out. Like, I tend to think that Shohei Ohtani, now look, maybe he's compromised. Maybe with them up 2-0, maybe there's a chance that that maybe he doesn't play game 3. Again, this is all speculation on my part, right? Because if he gets an X-ray and it looks worse than it is, then that's a whole other ball game. But
it might also be the pain that he can tolerate. If it's okay, it's got to be painful as heck.
Right.
To put that back in the joint.
Right, exactly. But if it is a pain tolerance issue, kind of like with Rizzo, and it can't get any worse, I got to think Shohei, who is not playing the field anyway, he's just a DH. I think that we continue to see Shohei Ohtani.
Any way he can, he'll be there. Yeah, you're right.
I think so.
Think about the rest of the world. Japan, he doesn't want to let these people down. This is what he's been dreaming about. Whatever he can do. It would have to
be the worst injury in the world. So wishing Ohtani, look, right. I don't wish injury
Me neither.
On anyone, and so hopefully he's doing all right.
No, we don't want any excuses when we come back, okay?
Exactly. I was thinking about that too. I don't want to hear any people say, oh, well, you know what? You came back without Ohtani. I don't want to hear any of that. So
right.
I'm totally with you. Fuck that.
We still got, we're still behind our team, man. I mean, everybody's upset to be down 2-0, but we're coming home 3 in a row in the Bronx. Fucking man. We'll give it a shot. We'll give it a shot.
That's what we need. And then just to finish out this game, Michael Kopech comes in the 8th inning, pitches a 1-2-3 8th. Mark Leiter Jr., who actually is looking pretty solid lately, and it almost had me thinking, maybe he could have actually been, instead of going down the Jake Cousins route, if we're going to take Weaver out, maybe you could have got Mark Leiter. But again, it's a stretch. But he did look good in the 8th inning.
He did. Let's leave it at that.
We'll leave it at that. And then in the 9th inning, Blake Trinan comes on, and Trinan got in trouble the night before. Trinan is their Luke Weaver. He is their top guy. And of course, because we got to discuss this. The 9th inning, Juan Soto singles, and it was actually it was off the wall, but it was smart for him to stay at first. You can't make the out at second there, but Soto, I just can't say enough about how you just know he's gonna come through in those late inning situations. That's what I love about him. That's what I love about him. Like, he is, and I know, look, I'll own it. I've been very anti-Judge, and I'm going to own that. Like, he is anti-Judge in a lot of ways. Like, Soto just, he's not chasing shit. Soto's just spitting on, tough pitches. He's saying, okay, I'm not going to go for that. And he has here's the thing with Soto versus Judge. And I wish I could keep this pro Soto and not have it be a Judge thing, but
could I just interrupt for 1 second?
Go for it, Kenny.
You're solely talking about the playoffs, am I correct?
Oh, of course.
Of course. So just for the listening audience, we're just talking about
this is a postseason. This is a postseason related conversation.
Right. 58, 144, 322. We're not throwing that in the toilet.
No. Of course.
Right.
Of course.
Gotcha.
No, and that's a good distinction. I hope everyone knows out there.
Absolutely.
This is a postseason conversation. Absolutely. And look, I'll admit it. I've always been this way as a fan. I value postseason so much.
Yankees,
I just
baby.
do. And again, it'd be one thing with Judge if the numbers were good previously, my tone would be different. It's just the fact that it's been a consistent year in year out thing. So again,
history there. Yeah.
But to stick with Soto, just so damn solid. I mean, this guy, there's no one else I'd want up more than Juan Soto. And that's even including Giancarlo Stanton, who's unbelievable. Soto is the goods.
I'm with you 100%.
And is just unbelievably clutch.
Machine. What a joy to watch, man. Every pitch.
Sign that man. Sign that man.
Sign that man. Sign that man.
To as much as whatever it is, right?
Please, Derek. Please, Derek.
That's dependent on the Yankees' future is Juan Soto returning in pinstripes.
Please. He's 26. He's a child.
Right.
Seems like he's been around for 20 years.
He has a Hall of Fame resume now and just turned 26.
Yeah. Remarkable.
How? Aaron Judge came up at 25, 26.
Pretty much. Exactly.
He was a rookie. He was,
at 25. Yes, you're right. Oh, my God.
And Juan Soto already has a World Series on his resume. He
MVP,
He actually never won an
no.
Yeah, surprisingly never won an MVP. I don't know. Yeah. I'm sure that'll happen one day.
Yeah, you would think so.
But, unbelievable.
MVP of the World Series?
Sorry?
He didn't get that either? MVP of the World Series?
I want to say that it was Anthony Rendon, but I could be wrong. I don't think it was Soto, but he was good in it. I mean, I know he homered off a Cole in that one. He was good.
All MVPs. Okay.
But anyway, Aaron Judge strikes out. And then, and it was again, I've already belabored it enough, but yeah, it was a bad. I mean, look, it was not a good looking at bat, but Giancarlo Stanton does what he does and absolutely just rips a ball off of the third base bag. Juan Soto, who moved to second on a wild pitch, scores. So Stanton, continues to just be that postseason presence. And it's just so great to see, and he gets a lot of shit from fans. Like, I'll go the other way here, right? Let's not, but I understand how it is, right? I guess I'm being hypocritical in the Judge sense, but maybe let's lay off Stanton just a little, in future regular seasons, this man has been just so unbelievably clutch in the postseason. It's been a joy to watch. And that was a huge hit to give the Yankees some momentum. And then, as you said before, Kenny, Jazz Chisholm Jr. works a really good at bat and gets a single to make it first and second one out. And then Anthony Rizzo, who I got to give credit to as well, hit by pitch, makes it bases on one out, and it sets the stage
big time
for Anthony Volpe. And look, Volpe has had a good postseason to this point, right? Very impressed by what he's done. However, Blake Trinan, who was on the ropes, he was at about he ended up with 33 pitches when it was all said and done. He was almost out of it. And I was saying, at least give me a good at bat. And the first pitch, it was a down and outside sweeper that he swings over. Then he kind of worked his way back in the count a little bit, although he missed. There was one that he hung, and he absolutely missed it.
We fouled it. Oh, I saw that one, man. That was a pitch he could have drove. He could have done something with that.
Yeah.
Yep.
And he misses that one. Yep. And then ultimately on a 2-2 pitch, swings it ball three for strike three. That was the at bat. That was the difference maker. Because let's say he somehow just draws a walk, which could have happened. Jose Trevino comes up next. Now you can never predict the future outcomes. I know there's a saying for this that Michael K likes to say.
Michael K always uses this exactly like.
And I'm not going to try to replicate that, but I don't have it in my mind right now. But Trevino pinch hits for Austin Wells. They bring in the lefty Alex Vesia. And I agree with that. I had no problem. It's a sad state of affairs when Trevino is kind of your best right-handed pinch hitting option. That's just kind of the structure of this team. We're way too left-handed heavy, but that's a conversation for another day. And Trevino, he gets a good pitch to hit, kind of rides it out to the outfield, and that's your ball game. But if Volpe had somehow walked, then that's a sac fly. Bases on a walk makes it a 4-3 game. Then Trevino sac fly makes it 4-4. It's the littlest of things. And so even though this game felt very distant, Yankees were right there at the end.
Right
so in some ways it's encouraging, but it's also just shows how close they were. This very well could have been a 1-1 series. And so now they go home to Yankee Stadium, and let's preview that. Game 3 will be Walker Buehler versus Clark Schmidt. Buehler, who used to be one of the best pitchers in the league, has dealt with a lot of injuries, had a really rough season, but had his last outing versus the Mets, he kind of turned a corner, had a good outing against the New York Mets, but hopefully he reverts to what he has been this season. I think that this is a winnable matchup, and the Yankees absolutely have to win this game. You make it 2-1, you got a series again.
100%.
And then game 4, to even jump ahead to that, Luis Gil, who, who knows how that goes with Luis Gil. But when he's on, he's very tough to hit. And it will be a Dodger bullpen game. So look, here's the thing. Yamamoto versus Rodón, that is on paper the worst matchup for the Yankees. But every other matchup, you could convince yourself, hey, it is winnable. And you just got to take it a game at a time. So for the Yankees, I hate to say it, look, if they win 2 of 3 at Yankee Stadium and go down 3-2 at Dodger Stadium, it's not dead. You never know, honestly, but you got to find a way to win all 3 at home. Not going to be easy, but that's just what they have to do here.
Yeah, their backs are up against it. I mean, right, pretty much. They need to sweep it home. But, right now, I'm just concerned with the next game. I mean, we have to win the next game for there to be anything forward from that because we're in trouble. So these bats got to wake up, and we got to start hitting like everybody knows, you know?
Yeah.
2 and 2 makes 4. I mean, we need good pitching, of course, but at the same time, 4 runs we gave up tonight. We felt like we got rattled because he had a terrible 1 inning. But that deficit was too much for us, even though we gave it a good shot in the 9th inning. But, you know, even that was too much for us. So we got to start banging them out. Let's go. We have the ability. If we don't, then we're not going to win. We have to have some offense here.
Right, and that's been the thing that, and I'm sure most teams deal with this, like in previous postseason exits, it has been that lineup going cold that has been our undoing. So, you know,
yes,
you know, sometimes our pitching gets criticism, and deservedly so at times, but it's always that offense that has just gone cold, and that's what it feels like is happening here, and they need to rectify that immediately. And hopefully getting back to the Bronx, the crowd will be very much behind them, really hungry for this. I mean, they haven't seen a World Series game at Yankee Stadium since 2009, so you know that they're going to have that crowd behind them, and you feel good about that. But look, the Yankees are not – they're in – I mean, the frustrating thing is that the Dodgers are not like leaps and bounds better. Dodgers are a very good team. Credit to them. But the Yankees, like – this, I still believe that this series is going 6 or 7 games. That's how I felt all along, and I'm not changing that opinion. But the Yankees got to get to work, and it starts on Monday night.
Absolutely. It's Monday night. It's do or die, basically. Monday night, we got to win, and then it's a whole new series again, and then we're like excited as all hell.
Right, exactly. That's all it takes. That's all it takes.
All it takes is one victory.
Yep.
And of course, that loss last night, I won't mention it one more time, but that loss last night is what makes this feel so much worse.
Definitely.
I mean,
I couldn't agree more.
In the palm of our hand.
I couldn't agree more. That was the game to win. If you lost tonight after that win,
you wouldn't have.
The tone is completely different. Hey, you know, damn, we almost won, but you know what? You did what you had to do. You won a close game 1, and you're feeling good about things.
Absolutely.
That game 1, I think, is going to haunt. I mean, look, if they lose this series, I mean, you're going to be looking back at that game 1 for a very long time. I hope not, but certainly, because you'd love somehow for that Freeman home run to lose its luster. And if you somehow won the series, it does. It absolutely does.
It's a footnote. It's no big deal anymore.
It's not this Kirk Gibson home run.
Exactly.
It's a footnote. Exactly.
Oh, I'm getting sick. We can't have that. We can't have that. Let's win this thing and have that just be a nice moment for Dodger fans. Okay.
Exactly. So a lot of series to go. Kenny, was a pleasure having you on. Hoping to have you on again for hopefully a Yankee World Series win. But
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Let's do this, boys.
Yeah, we gotta get it done at Yankee Stadium. But signing off here again, the Dodgers unfortunately take Game 2 by a score of 4-2. They lead this best-of-7 series 2-0, and we will take the series back to the Bronx Monday night for Game 3.